He's one unique player, and I think he's going to end up being the most unique and best player that ever stepped on a baseball field. That's how much respect I have for what Shohei does.
I think there will be other people that can come along and hit and pitch. I probably think there probably were some other people that could have did it, but I don't think at this guy's level. Like, yeah. He's the best baseball player I've ever seen, and I said that.
I just wonder how long he's going to be able to sustain that high level of doing both. I wouldn't doubt him. Again, he's a big-bodied guy, and so I think the durability is there. But you're right, he does both very, very well.
これらの言葉を口にしたのはただのファンではありません。サイ・ヤング賞を複数回受賞し、殿堂入りを果たした。あるいはそれに相当する実績を残した球界を代表するレジェンド投手たちです。彼らは長いキャリアの中で数えきれないほどのスター選手と対戦し、誰よりも鋭い目で野球を見続けてきたレジェンドたちです。彼らが大谷選手について語るとき、その言葉の重みが大きく変わるのです。今回の動画ではそんなレジェンド投手たちのインタビューを通して、プロの中のプロたちが大谷選手の何に驚き、何に心を動かされているのか、その理由を見ていきたいと思います。それではまず、現役時代にサイ・ヤング賞を3回受賞し、1999年にはレッドソックス史上初となるシーズン300奪三振を記録したペドロ・マルティネス氏のコメントからご覧ください。
To ever strike out 10 and hit a home run. He did it in the World Series in 67 and 68. He did not hit multiple home runs. Shohei did 10 Ks and 3 home runs. There's a million stats. How about this? Tonight was Ohtani's second career multiple home run game while pitching. Babe Ruth did it once. I mean, we're talking Bob Gibson, we're talking Babe Ruth, and now Shohei Ohtani.
You know, it's crazy. You hear these stats of Babe Ruth and Bob Gibson way back when, but as you move into 2020, 2025, 2050 and beyond, you always doubt, like, did it really happen?
Right.
But here you get a chance to see it, and you got a chance to watch it and experience the crowd and the reaction. We're in the green room, and we felt the bass from the speakers, so we knew something big was about to happen, but we didn't think it was going to be like this, out of the stadium, and everyone's going to have something to talk about because they've witnessed it, and you'll be able to play it back on repeat to show them.
The Dodgers will put a plaque where that ball hit. 469 feet, that second home run. Ohtani hit over 1,300 feet of home runs tonight, Jimmy Rollins. Each of them as impressive as the last.
That's a lot of home runs. And, you know, you guys have brought up some great points. Pedro talked about DNA. I don't think he has DNA. I think we found him on another planet and we injected him with some alien juice and they put him in a form of a human named Shohei Ohtani. And there were guys that have changed the game. And we hear about in other sports. Jordan, LeBron,
Wilt Chamberlain.
Bob Gibson. What happened? He was so good they had to lower the mound. Shohei, he has his own rule. You can pitch and be a DH. That way, when you're done pitching, we still want you in the game. That's how special he is. You're talking about 1,300 feet of home runs. Man, only one guy can do that. Actually, two guys. One of them isn't playing it. The other guy's already fishing somewhere. But the guy that we're watching now and what we're seeing is special. So I hope that everybody out there is really taking this in because this is a generational player. You say these guys come around once in a lifetime. I'm glad he's here in our lifetime.
Can we take another look at the 469-foot Ding Dong Johnson? Because that one, I felt like the stadium was shaking to its core, Pedro.
Well, this is impressive. I always expect him to hit homers, but to hit that kind of distance, it's like to another level. When you watch him, and we were talking in the pregame about facing Ohtani and, you know, the amount of pitches he has 100 for you too in the fastball. We were arguing over that, but we never thought that we were going to witness a homer at that distance. So Ohtani is like taking everything he does to the next level and beyond. It's like Ohtani's hanging the standard so high that most of us are going to have to take a plane to get there. So I don't have enough words to describe how impressed I am with the way Ohtani has handled not only in the field but off the field, his physical body to actually be able to do those things that he's doing. It's impressive. I would love to sneak in and see his routine. Just see.
Watch him work.
Oh my God! It doesn't come across my mind how this guy probably prepared to do all these things that he does at such a high level.
To see
Shohei just won another National League MVP title unanimously again.
He deserves it. He deserves it. He's one unique player. And I think he's going to end up being the most unique and best player that ever stepped on a baseball field. That's how much respect I have for what Shohei does. Shohei plays in the field, goes out there and hits, run the bases. Shohei is just unique. Shohei is only Shohei, nobody else.
Did you expect for him to come back as a two-way player, just like what he did? Did he exceed your expectation?
No, it did not exceed my expectations because Shohei showed what he could do. Shohei, the talent is there. If the Dodgers are able to do what they did this year with Shohei, which is taking slowly to get to where they need him, and they have enough pitching to support Shohei to kind of be a DH, he's going to continue to do these things. If he has to go out there every 5 days, I think everything else is going to be a little lower. His hitting, his running, and his performance are going to be a little bit lower because it's too long. The season is too long for Shohei to keep up with both at the same level.
Hey, Pedro, you were on the air on TBS when you had the Game 4, the 10 strikeouts, 6 scoreless innings, 3 home runs. What was that like? You were on the air that night. What was it like to see him have a game like that?
Unreal. I was like a kid in a candy store where he found probably the chocolate that he's never seen.
Yeah.
And that's what I saw in Shohei. Shohei did stuff that we never imagined. That's why you have to witness every single game that Shohei Ohtani, or as a matter of fact, any player is. Because I keep saying it, every single game has its own DNA. You never find a game that's similar to the other. You might find greater things or you might find lesser things, but something different happens every single time you watch a big league game. And Shohei Ohtani is one of the big reasons why we get so many different things happening in baseball and in history as he continues to go.
ペドロ氏の言葉からは、大谷選手という存在そのものへの深い驚きが伝わってきますね。彼以外には誰もいないという言葉は、何十年もトップレベルの野球を見てきたペドロ氏が語るからこそ重みがあります。次にご覧いただくのは CC サバシア氏です。ヤンキースの絶対的エースとして長年君臨し、サイ・ヤング賞も受賞。通算3000奪三振を達成したサバシア氏は、たった1イニングだけ大谷選手のプレーを目にして、ある確信を得たといいます。さらに彼は、日本での大谷選手のスター性についても独自の視点で語っています。サバシア氏が感じ取った大谷選手の唯一無二の存在感とは何かご覧ください。
When I talked about Ohtani and I saw him play one inning of one baseball game when I was still playing, and I looked at Luis Severino, I said, this is the best baseball player I've ever seen in my life. He's the biggest, he's the fastest, he's the strongest, he hits the ball the furthest, he throws the ball the hardest, like he is really, incredible. I mean, to have a season where you go 50-50 is really insane. And to be able to go out and throw 7 innings of no-hit or shutout baseball in the postseason and, the things that he's done, I mean, there's nobody that, I mean, they like to compare him to Babe Ruth, but there's really nobody that you can compare Ohtani to.
That's crazy. And you guys did the games in Japan. Like, what is his level of stardom in Japan right now?
I mean, we were at Shibuya Crossing. We went there one night, and there was 18 different things that he was on. It's basically Times Squares of Japan, of Tokyo. I mean, he's on bus stops. He's on, every billboard that you can name. And then we get back to the hotel, and there's like a tutorial on the hotel, and he's making pasta. Like, he's everywhere out there. But the thing about him is he shows up. He's on cue. Like, he had a home run in Tokyo Dome when we go to Japan. The first, at bat of the postseason, he goes deep. Like, he really shows up in these big moments, and it's just incredible to be able to watch him do his thing, man. It's I think we kind of take him for granted, but we're living in a time. I don't think there's going to be ever a player like him again. I mean, there may be guys that'll hit and pitch, but there won't be anybody that could do it at this level.
Ohtani, is he a true unicorn in the sport?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think there would be other people that can come along and hit and pitch. I probably think there probably were some other people that could have did it, but I don't think at this guy's level. Like, he's the best baseball player I've ever seen. And I said that. I saw him play one inning of one game, and he hit a ground ball to shortstop to Didi, and he beat it out at first base. And I was like, this guy's the biggest, the fastest. He hits the ball the furthest. He throws the ball the hardest. You guys remember that guy with y'all Little League when y'all was 12 years old? Whatever his name was, the best player? That's Ohtani.
At the highest level.
At the highest level.
Is it, I mean, and this is your sport, is it too early to say he is or will be the greatest of all time?
I said it the first day.
He's here.
He's the greatest baseball player to ever play.
Really?
And yes, absolutely. And I'm a huge Barry Bonds fan. I grew up out here. Barry's the GOAT. But Barry can't go out and throw 7 fucking innings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy is basically Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that to me, you know, sets him apart. But Barry is a close second for me. You know, growing up out here. But no, it's Ohtani for sure.
野球史上最高クラスの投手と打者を一人の人間に重ねる。それが比喩ではなく、本気の評価として口をついて出てくる。大谷選手にはそれほどの存在感があるのです。しかし、称賛の言葉だけでなく、投手としての大谷選手をより深く技術的に分析した人物がいます。オーレル・ハーシュハイザー氏。1988年に打ち立てた59イニング連続無失点という今なお破られていない伝説的な記録を持ち、同年のワールドシリーズ MVP にも輝いた右腕です。そんなハーシュハイザー氏が昨年の大谷選手の復帰登板を見て衝撃的な発言を残しました。投球メカニクス、肘への負荷、そして怪我のリスクとの戦い、さらにはもし投手専念ならどれほどの数字を残せるのかという過程まで、現役時代に誰よりも深く投げることと向き合ってきた男だからこそ語れる。
How you feeling, Orel?
I'm doing great.
So what'd you think of it last night? Chris was just kind of teasing me there a little bit about how excited I was to see Ohtani. And I was telling Mike Trudell, who's in for DeMarco today, I don't know if I've ever been to a game in the middle of the week, in the middle of June, where it felt like it did last night in the ballpark at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, Ohtani. So what did he do? Just kidding. You know, the hits were awesome. I was glad that he pitched and still got some hits because that bat is, you know, so important to the team. But as far as the pitching, I think, you know, you see the stuff. You saw the command was slightly off at times. You saw the check swing from Machado that probably could have bailed him out of the inning where he didn't give up a run and would have protected his pitch count. So I think all in all, it was a really successful night as far as the arm was concerned and the pitching. And, of course, you know, through this whole thing, all the way through the end of this season, it's going to completely be about how does he feel the next day. We're going to talk about the performance. We're going to cheer the performance. We're going to be on the edge of our seat watching the best two-way player ever and maybe one of the best players ever to put on a uniform. But it's all going to be about the future as far as how does he feel the next day.
You know, Orel, we were talking earlier in the show, thinking about his mechanics. And after you have the second Tommy John, does there need to be some kind of change to reduce the extension and like the load on the elbow and how that impacts velocity, how that impacts spin rate and just the angle? Can you get technical a little bit with just what you know about the arm, like what he goes through and then what you saw from the actual product and like the ball coming off of his arm, off of his fingers?
Well, you know, you're only as strong as your weakest link. And the ligament is one of the weaker links in the body, no matter who you are, if you're Ohtani or you're somebody else, you know, a 12-year-old kid. And the stress on the elbow is going to be a lot, no matter what arm angle you're throwing. But your mechanics do help that, stabilize it, put less stress on it. Having a little more weight helps because ground force production helps. I thought his mechanics looked great, but you know, you can't move something, you know, when you break a Ferrari, right, it breaks quicker because it's going at 160 miles an hour for some reason, or 200 miles an hour. And when you're a St. Bernard and you're just kind of trotting along, you're not breaking anything because when you're slightly out of whack, there's not enough pressure on the areas to hurt you. So it's really hard to throw 98 to 102 miles an hour and have every weakest link stay strong and be perfect and not get hurt. You know, you can analyze till the cows come home, and we have elbow surgeries all over baseball, from little league all the way up to the big leagues, and then to guys that are young in the big leagues, to guys who are old in the big leagues, to guys who have had them once, twice, and 3 times. And it's just, pitching is not completely a very easy thing to do, and it causes stress in certain areas. And we know probably the number one stress has been on the elbow and on the shoulder.
Orel Hershiser joining us here. We're talking about Shohei Ohtani's Dodger debut on the mound yesterday. And Orel, even somebody that's pitched as much as Ohtani has and pitched at a really high level the way that he has, and obviously he can strike guys out, is that kind of the last thing to come back when you're coming back from a long layoff? You know, it's the first time he'd pitch in 663 days. That ability to finish hitters off, because we saw him I think he got to a full count in 5 of the 6 guys that he faced, but, you know, Machado the check swing, but he wasn't able to punch a guy out. Is that just a little bit of rust that will eventually go away and he'll look like Ohtani all over again when it comes to finishing?
Yeah, I mean, that's your analyzing result instead of execution, right?
Yeah.
So the execution is my execution fine enough to look like a strike, end up a ball, and get a chase? Is my execution great enough to have the ball either go at a certain velocity in a perfect location in the strike zone to strike a guy out looking, or is it good enough stuff to have good movement and velocity in the strike zone and get a swing and a miss? So, no, it's all about execution. And yeah, is it different when you first come back? Oh, it's way different. And he's held to such high standards. Like, he's supposed to walk on water the first day he goes out there, you know, and when he pitches on the mound, there'll be no holes when he leaves it. It'll just be perfectly manicured still. It's like, no, he's not Jesus of pitching, but it's amazing that, you know, he can go out there and do what he's doing. And this is a long-term calculation to make sure that he's available in the most important innings of the year, which are probably going to be in September and October. And so this whole schedule, as far as could he have pitched sooner? Oh, I think he could have pitched last year. But his bat is so valuable. And when we were talking about stresses, like Mike asked me to get technical, the stress of pitching and the stress of hitting and the stress of practicing pitching and the stress of practicing hitting and the stress of working out as a pitcher with those movements and working out as a hitter for those movements, he's compounding the equation as far as the risk. And so then we know that when healthy, he is an MVP hitter, DH, and probably could play the field in a most amazing place. You know, he's got the right fielder's arm. He's got the height for and eye-hand coordination and glove work for a first baseman. He probably could play third. He probably could play short like Cal Ripken. He could probably play any position, except you wouldn't want to put him behind the plate and add to the risk. So it's the bar's so high for him that we expect him to go out there and just immediately be amazing. But this is all about the calculation. Because he is so good and can impact a possible world championship, it has to be calculated to the point to put him in the most important innings and the most important at-bats and be healthy.
You know, I was feeling a little bit for him as you were describing all the stuff that he has to do, just thinking not as much time for ping pong or, you know, like watching shows or just kind of hanging out. What he's doing, he's breaking down everything. I do want to ask you one more question about pitching, though, Orel. Just thinking about in your day, right, a lot of starters, especially a great one like you, or you're thinking of a Greg Maddux, who are going, you know, expecting to go 7 to 9 innings a game. Like, is there any difference in an expectation for Shohei where a lot of pitchers now, you don't even want to have them see the same hitter 3 times, especially if you have the bullpen like the Dodgers are going to have with the arms back? Like, how do you think that goes into the future? Does the second Tommy John impact it? What about the innings count and kind of what the expectation should be for Shohei to be optimized as a pitcher moving forward?
Yeah, I think there's some abstract numbers out there as far as how many innings, how many pitches. But again, it's going to come back to how does he feel? Because if he comes out of an outing, let's say he gets up to, let's say, 3 innings and 60 pitches for some reason, and he comes out of it and he's just okay, and he's got a little tenderness, and it's normal pitcher tenderness, but you want him to be DH because it's a big series. Now you're making a calculation according to the bat and the body and the pitch count, and then you're then getting through that, which is the next few at bats and the next few days as a DH. If it's 3 days, 5 days with an off day, you know, you're getting through the workouts, you're getting through the chiropractics to make sure he's balanced, you're getting through the massage therapy, you're getting through all the different things, the cardio, and at every point you're evaluating. Back in my day, we evaluated everything. It was being charted. It is charted and evaluated at a much higher level now, but it is a constant maintenance, constant how do you feel, constant this is what. But the conclusion or the thing that has changed from my generation to this generation is the configuration of the roster and the configuration of what you're expected to do according to game theory. And game theory is the starting pitcher is probably worse than the worst pitcher on your team third time around the order. The starting pitcher then is called on to train for 5 or 6 innings because that's approximately when the third guys are going to come around. And so now the roster's been expanded to 13 pitchers. In my day, it was 10. You've got 3 extra guys to cover those innings. Those guys are not responsible for 2 to 4 innings or 3 to 5 times a week to be out there. They're responsible for 1 inning or a few batters, and then the inning changes and they don't have to go back out there for the third batter. So the whole equation of what you're called on to do and then what you train to do is completely different. And it's all about game theory and roster configuration and how the game is played. And so Shohei and the other pitchers, but Shohei in particular, is being called on to do these things, and they are monitoring it as we go. But the top end is going to be 5 or 6 innings, and it might not be for him because of coming back from a second Tommy John, because of a late start, because you want him to stay healthy all through the whole year, and because he's a DH MVP that you won a world championship with.
And what makes Shohei is that he does both things, and he does them both at a high level. We saw what him fully committed to a season of offense would look like. It was 50-50. It was an MVP. What would a season fully committed to pitching look like? Assuming full health, assuming him sharp, what does that look like?
Well, so we've downgraded the value of a W, right? A win, not when the team wins, but the contribution to a win is more important than getting the W next to your name. But I think he would go deep into games and have an opportunity to win 20 games. Not that winning 20 games is the ultimate to say you had an amazing season. Nowadays, 15 wins, 13 wins can be an amazing season because of all your peripherals of how you helped your team win. And maybe your offense just didn't get the runs early enough, and the Dodgers are the best comeback team in all of baseball. So a lot of the wins come from the 7th inning on, and even the 6th inning on. And I got another one for you if you got time.
Yeah.
But so with him, I would say an ERA under 3 would be very easy if he was full strength. And I would even think that you could have an ERA under 2.5 from him full strength and locked and loaded only being a pitcher. I think that, the innings total could be over 200, which is a line of demarcation now where it used to be 300, but it's only about opportunity, not about ability that they don't get there. And I think that, over a strikeout an inning for sure, and a walk rate, because his mechanics are going to be as meticulous as Yamamoto's and some others, like a Greg Maddux. I think the walk rate would be, his strikeout to walk rate would be somewhere in the 5-1 to 6-1 possibly. And he would dominate. He would completely dominate. And, the only thing you'd worry about is, how do you feel tomorrow?
Right.
How do you feel tomorrow, big guy?
Yeah,
because,
well.
It's Roger Clemens. It's a power pitcher with an unbelievable breaking ball that has pristine mechanics and would have unbelievable location.
ハーシュハイザー氏が描いた投手専念の大谷像は、感情ではなく経験と分析に基づいた言葉です。防御率2点台、200イニング超え、奪三振はイニング数を上回る、そして支給率は極めて低い。これは夢物語ではなく、レジェンドが導き出したあくまでリアルな予測なのです。そしてハーシュハイザー自身の口からも名前が挙がったロジャー・クレメンス氏、7度のサイ・ヤング賞を受賞し、通算4672奪三振を記録した史上最高の投手の一人です。そんなクレメンス氏は 大谷選手をどのように見ているのでしょうか。
When he becomes a free agent in the fall, I'm guessing he's going to get, my guess is north of $600 million because of the combination of, being as great as he's a pitcher, being as great as he is a hitter. He's a built-in insurance policy because if he got hurt as a pitcher, you still have a top 10 hitter and the marketability, Roger.
Oh no, there's no question. I was thinking this. I was thinking the same types of numbers. I was with Maddox and not too long ago, and Greg and I were talking about how they couldn't afford us right now in the game, but they're going to have. It's going to be interesting to see. And again, for me, if it's a 10-year deal, I just wonder how long he's going to be able to sustain that high level of doing both. I wouldn't doubt him. Again, he's a big body guy. And so I think the durability is there. But you're right. He does both very, very well.
クレメンス氏が口にしたいつまで両方を高いレベルでこなし続けられるのかという問い。これは疑問ではなく驚嘆です。その問いが自然に出てくること自体、大谷選手が今この瞬間、いかに前人未到の場所に立ち続けているかを示しています。そして最後にご覧いただくのはランディ・ジョンソン氏です。通算303勝、5117奪三振、左腕から繰り出される160キロ超えのストレートと恐怖のスライダーで打者を圧倒し続けたビッグユニット。歴史上最も打ちにくい投手の一人として今も語り継がれる存在です。その彼がもし今マウンドに立ったとしたら、大谷選手をどう攻略するか。純粋に技術的な視点から語られたその言葉の中に、同時に大谷選手への深いリスペクトがにじんでいます。22年間のキャリアで培われた配球の哲学と大谷選手という打者の本質が伝わってくる内容となっていますので、ご覧ください。
How would you pitch to Ohtani?
Carefully. I still watch. Seriously, I mean, and Soto and Judge. I mean, these people that, and I faced a lot of big home run hitters, for 22 years. I gave up a lot of home runs. I don't know where, I gave up 400 and something home runs. But
walk me through this. Ohtani's at the plate. Let's say first at bat against you.
Well, and I've seen he pulls off the ball a lot. And so I would probably be very careful pitching any left-hander down and in. The swing plane for a left-handed hitter is usually down and up, whereas a right-handed hitter usually has a more level swing plane. If you throw a ball, if you look at a lot of home runs hit by a left-handed hitter, the ball is usually down and in because that's the swing plane for a left-handed hitter. Whereas a right-handed hitter, out over the middle of the plate, the swing plane is more straight across, sweeping across home plate. But I would be very careful with them. I would start off, whether it was a ball or strike, letting him know that I'm pitching in, get him off the plate, and then I would try to elevate pitches. I wouldn't pitch down and in. I would elevate, but I know he can hit a ball up too as well, and then I would work down and away.
What about Judge?
Judge, I would pitch like a Frank Thomas, someone like that. I've made mistakes to Frank, and the ball's still orbiting somewhere. But I would get ahead, hopefully, and then throw my breaking ball down and in, and hopefully I wouldn't hang it, because if I did, he's going to hit it 600 feet.
さて、いかがでしたか。今回ご紹介したのは、野球の歴史に深く名を刻んだレジェンド投手たちの言葉でした。彼らはそれぞれ異なる時代に異なるスタイルで頂点に立ってきました。投げることの苦しさも栄光も挫折も誰よりも知っている。そんな男たちが大谷選手について語るときだけはどこか同じ表情を見せます。驚き、そして敬意。彼らは大谷選手の数字や記録に感心しているだけではありません。投球の負荷を誰よりも知っているからこそ、あの体でマウンドにも立ち続けることの異常さが分かり、打撃の難しさを知っているからこそ50本塁打の意味が分かります。そしてその両方を同時にこなすことがどれほど人間の限界に近いことなのかを深く理解できるのです。投手として頂点に立ったレジェンドたちが比較できる存在がいないと語る。それこそが大谷選手の本当の凄さを 何より物語っているのかもしれません。この動画をご覧いただきありがとうございました。チャンネル登録、高評価もぜひよろしくお願いします。それでは次の動画でまたお会いしましょう。